I'm Betty Baldwin, Managing Principal of Retention Strategies. Our job here today is to focus on wellness and making our employees healthy and happy and improving our bottom line. I urge you to listen to the next 5 minutes of this video. It can help your organization understand how to do this tactically and strategically within your organization. We desperately need healthier employees. We desperately need to reduce our healthcare cost, and it can be done through a long-term wellness plan. Listen carefully and call Retention Strategies if you should need any assistance along the way. To build that business case, because that's what they're looking for. What's the business case behind that? So looking at some facts, just sort of interesting things to think about. Employer-sponsored health plans are really decreasing. Some companies, small companies in particular, are saying we can no longer afford to provide health care at any percentage of our contribution. We're seeing it in some smaller hospitality businesses, restaurants, retail businesses, construction projects. They're saying we just can't afford it anymore. In pharmaceutical and medical device companies, which have always led the island in terms of the better plan designs, the less expensive for the employees, we're seeing contributions have increased 25% at least over the last 10 years. And I must say this 25% though is starting from a very low base because many companies didn't used to charge anything to employees to participate in healthcare. And right now, how many of you have a healthcare plan in your operation that you don't charge anything to your employees to participate? 1, 2, we still have some. It's great, it's not 3. I think it's definitely the trend to be way more involvement by the employees, and so the cost of wellness starts to directly hit the employee because they're contributing so much more for their health care than they used to in the past. And among talking to a lot of our colleagues here who are brokers and consultants, we see that very few companies are not doing something going into the year 2012 in terms of charging more money, changing design in order to save money. There's a whole issue on the cost of healthcare in Puerto Rico. We're looking at trends in the double digits almost everywhere. So again, that comes pressure on costs to both the organization and to the employees. The other and some more interesting facts, genetically, Puerto Ricans are born predisposed to diabetes. It's a very interesting fact, substantiated by many doctors across the island. So if you stop and think about where diabetes can lead you, it's a huge problem. And so it costs your healthcare system so much to be diabetic if you don't control it. 2 simple ways, diet and exercise. So again, and 75%, this is true in Puerto Rico, this is here, 75% of all doctor's office visits are caused by stress. Somewhere in there's a stress relation. So again, think about what you can start to save in your healthcare plan because people who are healthier have less stress. So again, all roads lead back to wellness and healthy. Just some US facts just to throw out, 70% of diseases are preventable, meaning you can work at it, you can prevent them. $100 billion is estimated as the cost of alcohol and tobacco on the healthcare industry, $100 billion. And job stress is estimated to cost between $200 and $350 billion a year. So again, these numbers start to make real sense. The other thing is, this is kind of a perfect storm. The world is growing older. I mean, except for me, but everybody else. Everybody else. Me? No. Everybody else is growing older than me, so sorry. Except Jorge just tells me too, so I guess it's true. So the demographics are not in our favor. The economics, we don't have to talk about recessions and what all we've lost in the stock market because we all know what's going on with the economics. And then these healthcare trends. So this is kind of the perfect storm, really, that's joined together to put huge pressure on companies and their costs. I, again, don't know how many of you go into budget meetings with your companies as they work through healthcare costs for the next year, but it's not pretty. And so again, coming through with these kinds of programs to say, I know a way that I can help you, Mr. General Manager, Mr. Finance Manager, to start to do this, it's good. So all of this costs are just trickling down, and we're just going to have to pay them both personally and through our companies. So there's a pressure also to deliver in productivity. Again, those of you who work in companies that measure productivity, you know what that means, and you know how hard it is to deliver productivity. Many companies, most of the companies we deal with, for example, in the States, and again, I welcome anybody to share their experiences, but you know, you used to call and you'll call into say the director of HR in the States, and that person would have 3 or 4 direct reports and an assistant and yada, yada, yada. Usually there's one single person now. I mean, how many times do we say there's one person in HR, one person in benefits, maybe one person in OD for larger companies, but those big staff days, by and large, are gone, which means we have to control productivity and absenteeism.